Alright, so we're checking out the WPL D22 Yeah, it's not a great name. Another Banggood product here. So this company, WPL, they make these sort of miniature RC cars. They're kind of like highly detailed replicas of actual vehicles, and this one is a replica of a Wuling Mini EV. It's actually a picture of it here. It's an actual car. Obviously, a lot of you guys in Western markets don't know about this because this is an actual electric vehicle made for the Chinese market. It's actually the #2 top-selling vehicle in the world, believe it or not. I actually did some research on it, and there's a Wikipedia page about it if you want to read about it. But anyway, this is a 1/16 scale car. Based on that model from Wuling. I think they call this a D32, D22 because it comes in those two different variants. So you're going to see various reviews either referring to this as the D32 or the D22, but I don't think there's any difference really. This come in different colors, this sort of pastel. This one's a pastel yellow. I think it comes in like green, blue, pink, white, I believe are the other ones. So, like other WPL models, you do have to add these little plastic detail pieces here, like the rear tail lights and the headlights, some of the like the license plates and these little lights here, and the mirrors. There's some stickers like for the mirror there. It's kind of hard to see, and some of the trim pieces. They come on these little plastic pieces. You have to kind of pull them off like a model car. So kind of reminds me of when I was making model cars when I was a kid, but very similar. Not sure why they just didn't put it on at the factory, but you know, I guess it gives the sort of the lends it to the sort of like the model building experience. And obviously it's an RC car. Not a whole lot to this. There's a small brushed motor in here. Runs off of a 1-cell lithium-ion battery. It's a 500 milliamp hour 14500 lithium-ion. Uses one of these mini LOSI connectors, I believe what they're called, and does come with a USB charger. That's the connector that it uses. Just charges via USB. On-off switch right here. It does have a front and rear suspension. It's kind of very bouncy. Not super sophisticated. Rear axle drive. That's where the motor is back here. Pretty standard remote here with throttle and braking and reverse, and you got your trims and on-off switch. 2 AA batteries required. You have to remove a screw here and put those 2 AA batteries in. But other than that, not really much to do with this. The manual is all in Chinese, so I had to kind of figure it out myself, but it's actually not that difficult if you've used RC cars in the past. But let's turn this on here, and the lights work. You can see here, got some blinking lights in the front, and the rear lights are on here. Doesn't look like they're blinking. So they're blinking when there's no bind, so we'll go ahead and turn on the remote. And we have a bind now, and we do have proportional steering here. So it's fully proportional. And proportional throttle as well. So you can drive it really slow if you want. Or faster. Kind of up to you. But not much to us really. Let's go ahead and put the hat cam on and show you how this runs on the ground. Probably not really meant for off-road use, you know, indoor probably, maybe some sidewalks at the park, that kind of thing. But that's pretty much it. It's a pretty small model. As you can see, my hand pretty much covers the whole thing here. It's actually based, even though it's 1/16 scale, it's based off of a tiny car, so it's actually is to scale. It's just that the car itself this is replicated off of is really small. Anyway, let's go see how this runs. Alright, as expected, this is a tiny little car, but lots of fun to drive around. Has 2 speed modes, slow and a little bit faster than slow. It ain't a fast car. Not really for racing. However, I think that if you perhaps got a few of these, you know, these are, you know, if you have a bunch of kids, in the neighborhood or whatever, and they all want to play with these little cars. They're like 50 bucks, pretty inexpensive. Could do a race with these, you know, say 2, 3, 4 of these, and you know, small little playground like this would be perfect. In slow mode, if you go into the faster mode, or I call it medium speed mode, because it does have a high center of gravity, you can flip it over if you turn too quickly. So you see that I've done that a couple times here. Doesn't have a lot of power, so you're not going to be climbing over rocks or anything like that, and you can't get stuck into little gaps like in the sidewalk and that kind of thing. So be aware of that. It isn't really an off-road thing, but you know, on a playground with a fairly flat surface, sidewalks, you know, fairly flat street, you can be totally fine with that, and lots of fun to just drive around, you know, in a playground that is like in this kind of environment. It's perfect for that. And you can do little obstacle courses, maybe a little racetrack, something like that would be good. And you know, you can't complain about the price really. It's very inexpensive for an RC car. Now, of course, for some of you guys that want to FPV this, is probably going to be fairly simple to do. You probably want to get one of those all-in-one cameras or some sort of camera and VTX combo. You can just pretty much just slap it on top of the car. Might be able to open up the car. I'm not exactly sure how, but you know, if you get in there, you can look out the window, but it is not perfectly clear. It's a little sort of opaque, so I'm not sure how useful it would be to do that inside. But yeah, you could FPV this. You know, obviously you'll need some external power because this car runs off of a 1S battery, so unless you want to wire it up to the car power system, it's probably better just to use an external battery for that, but certainly can FPV this around if you want. Overall, you know, I think this is a pretty good value for money, a lot of fun, pretty much for all ages. Highly recommend it. Check out the link in the video description. That's going to do it for this video. Talk to you guys in the next one.